students, hope you are having a good day. Today we are going to start our science lesson. Before starting the lesson today, I would like to ask you a question. Have you had your meals? Yes, you had your meals. What did you have? You may say rice and curry and fruits like banana, mango, pineapple, and some sweets also. Who made this food for you? Is it by yourself? No. Then by your mother? No. Then who made this food for you? Yes, it is by plants. Plants make food for all living organisms. Plants make food for all living organisms. So today we are going to study the process of producing food inside plants. The process of producing food inside plants. Photosynthesis. Now at the end of the lesson, you will be able to answer these questions, children. Define photosynthesis. Explain the factors that affects photosynthesis. Write balanced chemical equations to express photosynthesis. And finally, name the products of photosynthesis. At the end of the lesson, you will be able to answer these questions. Before talking about photosynthesis, let's remind the characteristics of living organisms again. You have already studied these things at grade 10. So, what are the characteristics of living organisms, children? Nutrition, respiration, excretion, movement, reproduction, growth and development, irritability and coordination. So, these are the characteristics of living organism. Out of these characteristics, we are going to focus on nutrition today. Nutrition. What is known as nutrition? The process by which energy and materials are obtained. The process by which energy and materials are obtained for the maintenance of life is known as nutrition. Now you can see, children, a food web and several food chains here. A food web and several food chains here. It explains you how organisms obtain their nutrition. These food web and food chains explains you how organisms obtain their nutrition. So, how we get energy? We get energy from food. How we get energy? We get energy from food. Why energy is needed? Why energy is needed, children? Now you can see in this picture the growth of a child and a growth of a plant is given here. Energy is needed for growth and repair. Mainly energy is needed for growth and repair. Now you can see the growth of a child here. What is known as growth? The irreversible increase in size. The irreversible increase in size is known as the growth. Now look at the child. Think when you are in grade 1, your size when you are in grade 1. Now you are in grade 11. Now you can see the difference. You can compare the difference of your sizes when you are in grade 1 and grade 11. It is known as growth. It is known as growth. So, for growth, energy is needed. For growth, energy is needed, children. So, how we obtain energy? Now, tell me how we obtain energy. Energy is obtained from food. Yes, energy is obtained from food. Food is essential to obtain energy. Food is essential to obtain energy. And different organisms obtain food by many ways. You can see different organisms obtain food by many ways. That is to obtain energy. That is to obtain energy. Mode of nutrition. What is known as mode of nutrition? So, I mentioned you early, different organisms depend on different types of food to obtain their nutrients. Different organisms depend on different types of food to obtain their nutrients. So, method that they use to obtain their nutrients is known as mode of nutrition. The method that they use to obtain their nutrients is known as mode of nutrition. So, mode of nutrition can be divided into two main categories, children, as shown in the diagram. One is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. The second, autotrophic mode of nutrition. Number 1, heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Number 2, autotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, we are going to study in details about these two modes of nutrition. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, you can see some animals here. Try to identify them, children. Can they produce their own food? Tell me, can they produce their own food? No, they cannot produce their own food. They cannot produce their own food. So, how they obtain their nutrients? They depend on plants. They depend on plants for nutrients. And some of these animals directly depend on plants. And some animals you can see indirectly depend on plant for food. However, all animals depend on plant for food, children. So, that type of nutrition is known as heterotrophic mode of nutrition. That type of nutrition is known as heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, you can see different modes of nutrition of animal. Read them: herbivorous, carnivorous and omnivorous. Herbivorous, carnivorous, omnivorous. Animals who consume only plant materials are known as herbivorous. Animals who consume only plant materials are known as herbivorous. And animals who consume flesh of other organisms is known as carnivorous. Animals who consume flesh of other organisms is known as carnivorous. Then who are omnivorous? They depend on both plant materials and flesh of other organisms. Omnivores depend on both plant materials and flesh of other organisms. Right? Now, what is this? It is a food web, children. It is a food web. It shows you the interconnection of organisms for food. It shows you the interconnection of organisms for food. Now you can see all the food chains of this food web start with a plant or plant material. All the food chains here start with a plant or plant material, and all other organisms are consumers. All other organisms are consumers. They directly or indirectly depend on plant for food. Now you can see herbivores here. You can see herbivores here. They directly depend on plant for food. Now what is this? This is a food chain. This is a food chain. It shows you how energy flows from one trophic level to the next. How energy flows from one trophic level to the next. The first link is known as the producer. The first link is known as the producer. It is always a plant or plant material. It is always a plant or plant materials, and others are consumers. Energy in plant flows to the consumers. Food chain shows you flow of energy from one living organism to another. Food chain shows you the flow of energy from one living organism to another. Now try to identify the organisms in this picture. You can see a plant and some green algae here. They are also living organisms, children. So how they obtain their food? They also need food. How they obtain their food? Yes, they can produce their food within themselves. They produce their food within themselves. So this mode of nutrition is known as autotrophic mode of nutrition. Animals and all other living organisms, including human beings, depends on the food produced by plants. In this picture, some foods are given. Now, the photosynthesis is the process of producing food inside the plant. Now, in this picture, you can see some foods produced by plants, children. Next, we are going to discuss the factors essential for photosynthesis. Factors essential for photosynthesis. Look at the factors: water, carbon dioxide, chlorophyll, light energy. Shall I tell it again? Water, carbon dioxide, chlorophyll and light energy. Now let us see how these factors affect photosynthesis. Number 1, water. Water is absorbed through root hairs to the plant from soil. Now in this diagram you can see a plant and water in soil. Now root hairs in root system, children. Now what is absorbed by root hairs? Water is absorbed by root hairs and it is transported to the leaves. Water is transported to the leaves. In next diagram, you can see a cross section of a root. In next diagram, you can see a cross section of a root. You can see root hairs and other tissues of the root: cortex, endodermis and xylem of the root. So, however, what is absorbed through root hairs to the plant from soil? Now this is a longitudinal section of a root. This is a longitudinal section of a root, and you can see tissues of plant leaf. How water is transported to the leaf. Now this diagram shows you step by step how water is transported to the leaves. So absorbed by root hair, then it is transported to the cortex and it passes endodermis and reach xylem of the root. Then xylem of the stem and veins of the leaves, and finally mesophyll cells of the leaves. This is the path of water, children. Now what is the mechanism of absorbing water? The mechanism of absorbing water to the plant is known as osmosis. The mechanism is osmosis. What is known as osmosis? The water potential in soil is higher than that of the plant. So water can be easily absorbed by plant. Carbon dioxide, one of the most important raw material. How plant leaf obtain carbon dioxide for photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide is obtained from the atmosphere through stomata. Now you can see in this picture, children, stomata. This is electron microscopic view. The size of the stomata is controlled by the guard cells. The size of the stomata is controlled by the guard cells. So stomata is surrounded by two guard cells. Now this is a cross section of plant leaf. In this diagram, the stomata opening and the guard cells and intercellular spaces and mesophyll cells where photosynthesis takes place. Two types of mesophyll cells, spongy mesophyll and palisade mesophyll. Chlorophyll. What is known as chlorophyll? A green color pigment found in chloroplast. Chlorophyll is a green color pigment found in chloroplast. The cell organelle, chloroplast. Now this diagram shows you the electron microscopic view of chloroplast. Chlorophyll in this chloroplast absorb energy from sunlight. Chlorophyll absorb energy from sunlight. Now what are these plants, children? You can see Hydrilla and Vallisneria plants here. So if we observe a little piece of these leaves under light microscope, you can see what you can observe. You can observe the chloroplast move towards the direction of sunlight. You can observe the chloroplast move towards the direction of sunlight. Why do we use Hydrilla or Vallisneria plant to observe chloroplast movements? Yes, you are right. The movement of chloroplast clearly can be observed using these plants because they are translucent. These plants are translucent because they are aquatic plants. So we can observe the movement of chloroplast clearly using these type of plant, children. Next, light energy. Sun is the main natural source of light for photosynthesis. Sun is the main natural source of light for photosynthesis, but under special circumstances we can use artificial lights also. Now look at this diagram, children. Can you identify this? Yes, it is a greenhouse. So in greenhouse, when we are growing crops in greenhouses, children, the natural light may not be enough. When we are growing crops in greenhouses, the natural light may not be enough. So, under these conditions, we have to use artificial light. So, we can use bulbs to obtain light. Now, you know white light is consist of 7 colors. White light is consist of 7 colors. If you observe a rainbow, you can identify these 7 colors, children. Can you name them? Yes. Now, what is the importance of these colors in photosynthesis? Look at this diagram. Now, red and blue color. Red and blue color of sunlight is absorbed by plant leaf. And scientists say these colors enhance photosynthesis. Red and blue color enhance photosynthesis. Why farmers cover banana with blue polythene? Now you may have seen this in Sri Lanka, farmers cover banana with blue color polythene. What is the reason, children? Blue light enhance photosynthesis. It helps to increase the size of the fruit. It helps to increase the size of banana fruit. Now, this is a summary of photosynthesis. Definition of photosynthesis. Read it by yourself. Utilizing the light energy, the cells contain chlorophyll in green plant. Synthesize food using carbon dioxide and water as raw materials. This is the whole process of photosynthesis, children. Utilizing the light energy, the cells contain chlorophyll in green plant. Synthesize food using carbon dioxide and water as raw materials. Adaptations of plants for photosynthesis. Adaptation of plant for efficient photosynthesis. Now, plant is adapted to catch maximum amount of sunlight. Plant is adapted to catch maximum amount of sunlight, children, because there is a huge number of leaves in a plant. All of them need sunlight. All of them need sunlight for photosynthesis. So, they have to arrange in a particular manner to catch maximum amount of sunlight. It is known as phyllotaxis or leaf arrangement. So, what is known as leaf arrangement? The way that plant leaf is arranged around the stem. Now, in this diagram, you can see some leaf arranging methods: alternate, spiral, opposite and whirl. So, now I am going to show you using some specimen, some natural specimen. Now, this is annona. Now, this is annona. Now, you can see plant leaves are oppositely arranged. Plant leaves are arranged in this way in annona. This is known as alternate arrangement. And look at this branch. This is guava. This is guava. And how leaves are arranged here? Can you identify? Yes, leaves are arranged as pairs but to opposite directions. Leaves are arranged in pairs but to opposite directions. Now look at this branch. How leaves are arranged around the stem, children? How leaves are arranged around the stem? Yes, these leaves are arranged in a whirl. Now you can see several leaves arranged in the same place around a knot. This is known as whirl arrangement. Now this is spiral arrangement. This branch shows you spiral arrangement of leaves around the stem. Observe it carefully. Can you identify the spiral arrangement, children? Right. So this is an adaptation of plant for efficient photosynthesis. Shall we move to our next slide? Leaf blade being thin. Now compare with other parts of the plant, leaf is very thin. Compare with the other parts of the plant, leaf is very thin. For what purpose? Yes, it is an adaptation for efficient photosynthesis. It is an adaptation for efficient photosynthesis. Now what this picture says? What these pictures say? Turning towards the direction of sunlight. You can see some indoor plants and outdoor plants. Both turn towards the direction of sunlight. That is to catch maximum amount of sunlight, children. Now what are these plants? Are there leaves in these plants? No. There are no leaves. They are known as xerophytic plants. They are known as xerophytic plants which grow in semi-arid areas. So they are adapted for carry out photosynthesis in this way. So what happened here? The stem of the plant turned into green color. The stem of the plant is turned into green color. This is also an adaptation for efficient photosynthesis. Now I will show you a specimen. Now look at this specimen, children. This is a type of cactus plant. Now you can see the stem is adapted to carry out photosynthesis. No leaves here. No leaves here. Leaves are turned into spines. Therefore, stem is adapted to carry out photosynthesis. Climb up for search in sunlight. Now, these plants have a weak stem. So, they have to climb up with the support of another plant or another support. The stem of these plants are very weak. So, they have to climb up for search in sunlight with the help of another support. So, these are some adaptations of plant for efficient photosynthesis, children. Now, what is this? This is the word equation for photosynthesis. This is the word equation for photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide combined with water and produce glucose and oxygen. Utilizing light energy and chlorophyll. Carbon dioxide combined with water and produce glucose and oxygen, utilizing light energy and chlorophyll. This is the word equation for photosynthesis. Now, let us look at the balanced chemical equation of photosynthesis process. Now, children, this is the balanced chemical equation of photosynthesis. You can get more details. You can study more details of this balanced chemical equation. Now, look at this. While producing one glucose molecule, it consumes 6 carbon dioxide molecules and 6 water molecules. While producing 1 glucose molecule, it consumes 6 water molecules and 6 carbon dioxide molecules, using light energy and chlorophyll. Now, what are the products of photosynthesis? So, these are the products of photosynthesis, children. Major product of photosynthesis is glucose. Major product of photosynthesis is glucose, and oxygen is the byproduct. Oxygen is byproduct. Now, let us see what happened to the glucose next. Now, glucose is produced inside the plant leaf. Glucose is produced inside the plant leaf, children, and it is temporarily stored in plant leaf as starch. Produce glucose temporarily stored in plant leaf as starch. Then it is converted into sucrose. And transported to the other tissues via phloem. The mechanism is known as mass flow. At storage organs, what happened? At storage organs, again this sucrose in phloem sap turns into starch and store. You can see some foods here which stored starch. And what is the fate of oxygen? Oxygen diffused to the atmosphere via stomata, similarly absorbing carbon dioxide. Now, this is a summary. Glucose in leaf, starch in leaf, sucrose in phloem sap, then starch at storage organs. Identification of starch produced during photosynthesis. Now, I mentioned you early, produce glucose temporarily stored as starch, children. Produce glucose temporarily stored in leaf as starch. So, we test plant leaf for starch. We can confirm the occurrence of photosynthesis in plant leaf. Now, let us see how we can carry out starch test. Materials required: beaker, boiling tube, water, tripod and Bunsen burner, alcohol, plant leaf, and there should be iodine also. And these plant leaves are more suitable to test for starch. These plant leaves are more suitable for starch test. Identify them, children, try to identify them. Butterfly pea, hibiscus, drumstick leaf and chili leaf. Method: as a first step, we have to pluck a leaf from the plant which was under sunlight. Pluck a leaf from a plant which was under sunlight. Next step, boil it in water. What is the purpose of boiling, children? While boiling, tissues in plant leaf die and become more permeable. While boiling, the tissues in plant leaf die and become more permeable. So, chlorophyll can be easily removed. Let us move to the next step. Then the boiled plant leaf place in alcohol and boil in a water bath. Why we use a water bath while heating alcohol? Alcohol is highly inflammable. So, we use a water bath when we use alcohol to test. Then the next step, Wash the leaf and add a few drops of iodine solution. Shall we move to the observation, children? Now, as shown in this diagram, plant leaf turns dark purple or blue color. Plant leaf turns dark purple or blue color. It confirms the presence of starch in plant leaf. It confirms the presence of starch in plant leaf. So, we can decide that photosynthesis has taken place in the plant which was under sunlight. Right. So, before finishing the lesson, I would like to ask you some questions, children. Now, read this question and try to answer them. Question number 1. What is the first thing made in the plant leaf as a product of photosynthesis? Glucose, starch, sucrose, lipids. What is the answer? Yes, your answer is correct. It is glucose. Next question. The forms in which food produced by photosynthesis is transported and stored in order are: the forms in which food produced by photosynthesis is transported and stored in order. Number 1, glucose and starch. Number 2, sucrose and glucose. Number 3, starch and sucrose. Number 4, sucrose and starch. What is the answer, children? Yes, sucrose and starch. Shall we move to the next question? Which of the following energy transformation takes place during photosynthesis? Answer, first answer, chemical energy convert into light energy. Second answer, heat energy transform into chemical energy. Third one, light energy into chemical energy. Fourth one, light energy into heat energy. During photosynthesis process, light energy is converted into chemical energy. Foods contain chemical energy, children. What is the primary raw material which is responsible for releasing oxygen in the process of photosynthesis? Water, carbon dioxide, light, glucose. What is the answer? What would you think? What is responsible for releasing oxygen? Now, this is a structured question, children. Look at this diagram. The diagram shows you the factors relating photosynthesis. Now, these are the questions. A. Through which tissue a food is produced in leaves, transported to the other parts of the plant? Through which tissue is food transported to the other parts of the plant? B. Which substance does the plant absorb from soil to produce food? C. The consumers of which level die first if the earth is cut off from sunlight for a long period? Last question, how do plants contribute to reduce air pollution? Food is transported via phloem, and substance that absorbed from soil is water. First die herbivores, children. Then finally, during photosynthesis, plant absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen. It helps in reducing air pollution. Children, today we were discussing about photosynthesis. Now look at this slide again. Now you can answer these questions, children. Now you can define photosynthesis and explain the factors that affects photosynthesis. And now you can write the balanced chemical equation to express photosynthesis process. And finally, you can name the products of photosynthesis. So in our next lesson, we are going to discuss how these factors affects photosynthesis using some experiments. I am going to finish the lesson today. We will meet with our next lesson.